Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the next video comes out. It only takes 2 seconds to make 2 clicks. So let's do it. Let's get back to the video. Hello, Fearless Freedom Tribe. This is Dr. G, and we are back for another incredible episode of the Fearless Freedom with Dr. G podcast. Oh my goodness, we have an incredible guest today, and it is Jessica Cox. And Jessica, you're up to quite a lot. Do you want to tell the Fearless Freedom Tribe who you are and what you are up to?
Sure. Yes. I love the Fearless Freedom Tribe because I feel like I'm a fearless person. That's just who I am. I was born without arms, but I became the world's first armless pilot and have a Guinness World Record for doing so, along with becoming the first black belt in the American Taekwondo Association who did so without arms. And now I travel as a speaker, as a life coach, and an author to inspire other people to be fearless, to go out there and just, to fulfill their dreams, achieve their own impossible.
Wow. That's very impressive resume, CV, however, backstory, however you'd like to frame it. That is really impressive. And so, you have to let us know what made you want to, for example, be a pilot? I mean, because that's not something that most people set out to do, right? So
Yes.
what inspired you? Did you have pilots in your family, or were there people who, influenced you in that way?
Well, here's the thing. There were no pilots whatsoever in my family. So it was just really kind of born out of a just completely nowhere because of my fear of flying. Actually, I had this unique opportunity and I was like, okay, am I going to face my fear, or am I going to, let it hold me back? And I wanted to be an example to others to be fearless. So I thought, well, why not do something I'm terrified of? What's my greatest fear, and conquer it, and letting other people know that they can do the same in their own lives.
That's fantastic. I love that you took an action plan, or you took action on facing your fear, and you took such massive action, because a lot of times what happens is that we get crippled by our fear and then we just don't know what to do. So you saw that you had a fear of flying and you said, you know what, I'm just going to go and face this thing head on. And you took it to the next level and actually, flew planes, which is amazing. And so you got to tell us, how you mentioned that there was an opportunity that arose. How did that opportunity come about?
So it's funny how, the universe presents you with these unique opportunities and ways of saying, I think this is the next chapter in your life. And sure enough, I'd never been in a small plane my entire life. And then boom, straight out of college, when I was looking for my next challenge, looking for my next chapter in life, I just graduated. And that summer of my graduation from college, I had this fighter pilot come out of nowhere and ask me if I wanted to fly. And he was just asking about a joyride flight. And I was like, oh, heck no, I'm not going to probably do that. That's not, no interest to me. But I didn't say anything. And my dad was with me at the time, and he kind of jumped in and said she would love to.
Nice.
Kind of just projecting his interest of flying on me. And it has really turned into this incredible chapter, incredible impact on the world, that I think aviation and overcoming the fear of flying it's tremendous how it's reached people. And I always say, I think part of my fear was based in the unknown. And we all have the fear of the unknown. And I knew nothing about flying. I knew nothing about how an airplane stays in the sky. And, you know, an airplane doesn't just fall out of the sky. If there's issues, it can glide to the ground and land. So all these kind of fears were rooted in the fear of unknown. And I thought, why not conquer this so that it can inspire other people?
Wow. No, that's awesome. And sounds like your dad is like a huge advocate. He's like, oh yeah, this is something that is exciting and fun. I think she'll want to do this. Absolutely. Like sounds like
Yeah, I
he's a big
know.
advocate for you.
Well, just to give you guys an idea, my dad never once shed a tear about my birth condition and the fact that I was born without arms. So he never saw me as a victim. He just figured, you know, God has a plan, and he was there as a rock in my life and saying, you know, just move forward, use what you have, and learn how to adapt. And amazingly enough, he was right. And how my life is even more profound, being that I was born without arms, and it's making a greater impact than if I was. So I feel like it's really wonderful how things can turn into a positive when you shift the way you see it.
Absolutely. It's all about mindset. Oh my gosh. So kudos to your dad for doing that, because that is amazing. I think that most times when we look at our children, we don't necessarily, we see them for who they can become. So it sounds like your dad was seeing you for who you're going to become and not who you were at the time, of your birth. And so that's amazing. That's really amazing. That's a true testament of his love, and that's a true testament of his parenting, because parenting is not easy. And it is definitely it's definitely not easy when you are trusted with the responsibility of helping an individual to be, to be functional in society and to be an asset to society, and making sure that it's not the opposite. So that's awesome. That is really awesome. Kudos to your dad. So here's a question
Yes.
for you. Here's a question for you. So I have spoken to one other person who was born essentially with something that would be considered prohibitive, right? It would be something that would allow them to have to adapt to the world. And their parents also said, okay, well, this is a thing that may prevent you from doing things, or this is a thing that's going to make you excellent at doing the things. And they did not assist this person at all. Like, they basically let this person fend for themselves and figure out ways to make basic everyday things happen. Did your parents do that to you, or how did they approach how did they treat you? How did they approach your upbringing?
Well, I have heard of that. And I think you're kind of referring to tough love, and that's kind of giving the child that space to figure it out. And sometimes it's hard to watch that as a parent. I'm not a parent, so I don't fully understand, but to watch your child struggle, realizing that that struggle is necessary for them to become stronger, for them to figure it out and figure out a way to be independent, to be successful. My parents, I think my mom was more of the protective mother type, because coming from her culture of being a Filipino mother, she's very protective, very coddling in a way. And she knew, though, that she had to teach me to be fierce and to be courageous. And so she always told me, you can do anything. And she not only told me that, but she lived that every single day, because, sometimes actions speak louder than words. And so she was my role model growing up, and gave me that. Regardless of how protective she was a fearless warrior type, and everything that happened in her life. She battled cancer for a decade.
Oh, wow.
She went, she immigrated to the United States as a 22-year-old. Had to grow up right away.
Yes.
She had so many things in her life that were stacked against her, but she came out in the end stronger. So I think my parents, I feel blessed that my parents were who they were, because it takes that, especially when you're a child who feels powerless and you look to your parents as role models.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So you mentioned something extremely powerful that your mom did though. I mean, so the thing is that we always seem to underestimate the power of the words that we say, particularly during the formative years, to our children, for example. And so it sounds like your mom was feeding you with very positive, and like she fed you a narrative that was extremely positive. She made sure that your mindset was such that, there's nothing that's impossible for me. I can do anything, which I think is very, very powerful. So even though she was showing you that you can do anything from her own actions in her own life, she was also feeding that into your mind, which is absolutely amazing. So that is something that kudos to your mom, because I also identify with her in the sense of being an immigrant and having to adapt to a new culture, a new land. And for the fact that she did it at 22 years old, which means that she was already an adult when it happened, is even more of a testament to her fortitude, because that is not an easy transition to go from,
Mhm.
for example, the Philippines to the United States, because I mean, the culture is different. You know, they don't speak Tagalog, right? In the United States.
That's
And so it's
true.
like so it's a language issue. And there's so many things. And she, despite all of that, had success. And so she understood what it is like to actually face adversity and overcome. And then she instilled that in you at a very early age. And it's clearly manifested in your life, which is absolutely awesome. So good on mom. She did a fantastic job there. And it sounds like dad did a phenomenal job too. I don't want to leave that out. It sounds like he is like your number one cheerleader as well. So yeah, no, that's
Yes.
great. So did he get to, I know we're all kind of curious. Did he get to be in the plane with you on that ride? Because since he was the one that
I
was like,
You know who my first passenger was? When you become a certified pilot, I'm allowed to take one passenger at a time. My first passenger was my dad because of that role he played in encouraging me. And I'll tell you, it was a very strange feeling when I'm flying him and he doesn't know anything about flying, but I'm the one doing doing all the work and flying that plane. And he's sitting over there as passenger when he's normally in the car with me. He's like the backseat driver kind of dad, and we all
nice.
know how that goes. So it was a very surreal feeling, I'll tell you that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know that had to be super special for him, because I'm sure he remembered the day when he pushed you to to take the ride, and then to see how it
Yes.
evolved to, something that's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, not everybody can say they were in the Guinness Book of World Records. I mean, that's phenomenal, And so, no, I'm sure he's very, very proud of you. Awesome. And then, so tell us now, um how did you get involved in public speaking? Like, how did that evolve?
I have to tell you the story about the first time I was on stage. I didn't want to be on stage. I was 6. I did tap dance classes
Oh,
and we had
nice.
our recital. And I was told that we were going to be in front of all our family and friends on stage. And I told mom, I said, Mom, I don't want to be in the dance recital. And somehow she kind of prodded me and encouraged me. And I made my way out on stage as a 6-year-old. And I was hooked. I loved being on stage and performing. And I danced every summer after that.
Oh,
And sure
nice.
enough, I had no idea. It was preparing me for this career as a speaker, as someone who's now spoken in 27 countries around the world to audiences as big as 5 to 10,000 people. And it's really a blessing to be able to speak on stage and inspire a whole audience.
No, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, so I mean, the tribe knows this, but the reason why this podcast got started was because I have a fear of public speaking. And so
Oh,
it's always fascinating to hear how public speakers get started. So for me personally, I mean, I had to public speak pretty much a lot for my job. And as a physician, you're public speaking all the time. But it did not mean that I was not afraid and there was not like a physical response and a mental response that was happening every single time, because there was, but I didn't really acknowledge it until a few years ago. And then when I realized that I actually had a deep fear, I knew that I had to do something about it. So for me, getting on stages in front of lots of people was how I faced it. And then starting the podcast where I could talk to amazing people like yourself about how to face fear, was essentially what happened. So it's so encouraging to hear, your story, because you mentioned that you had a fear, you didn't want to go on stage, and you were so young. So this is a time when everything is pretty much, you're impressionable. These are the things that these are the pathways that are going to forge, your future. And so your mom is like, again, mom is like, no, get out there, you could do it. And then there you go out there, and then you find that brings you joy, and that is something that you are really good at. And so that is so inspiring and so encouraging. And again, we have to thank mom for doing that, because had she not pushed you out there and got you, got the bug lit, or the fire lit inside of you, then think of all of the thousands of people that would not have had the honor and privilege of hearing your story and hearing your voice. So thanks, mom, and thank you,
I
Jessica,
know.
for
Thanks.
doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I feel fortunate that I had some amazing mom coming up on Mother's Day here. So,
That's right.
yeah,
That's
it's the
right.
time to express our gratitude. Or sometimes what our moms have us do is not always comfortable in the beginning, but there's always a reason and there's always a good purpose behind it. So,
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And if you do become a mom at some point, then you will get to see it firsthand, and you'll get to basically pass it on. So you have an incredible example in your mom, and I'm sure you'll be an incredible mom if you decide to do that in the future. So here's a question for you. Are you still, so how did everything go for you as far as, cause last year we had, speakers took a little bit of had to do a lot of pivoting because of the fact that we couldn't get on stages really anymore. How did you deal with that? Did you do more virtual events, or how did you transition there?
yes, I really didn't know what was going to happen for our industry as speakers. And I started to, figure out how to pivot, not only how to pivot, but how to figure out new ways of getting the inspiration out there. And that's not just as a speaker, but I could become a life coach. And that's where I started to really grow my coaching practice and how I can reach people individually to continue to inspire, continue to motivate. And it really led me to connect with some people who needed the encouragement. I think everyone needed a little bit of that this past year, because it was so tough in many
Yeah.
ways. So pivoting that and recognizing that inspiration, motivation is not just delivered from a stage. You can deliver it in many other ways. We were creating more videos. I was doing a lot of home encouraging videos like Motivation Monday. I did a free email campaign, which you can still sign up for it. It's called possiblethinking.com. And everyone once a week would get a powerful Motivation Monday email to encourage them during the difficult time. So I found just new avenues and realizing that you can diversify your skills and how you can reach people.
No, that's awesome, because that was so needed. Absolutely, absolutely. And so possible, repeat the website again. Repeat the
Possible thinking, kind of like positive thinking. People have heard positive thinking, but mine is possiblethinking.com.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I want to make sure that the audience heard that. Okay, awesome. And then if somebody was wanting to book you, or to um hire you as a life coach, how would they go about doing that?
You can find me on jessicacox.com. You can find me on social media through JCMS. That's short for Jessica Cox Motivational Services. So JCMS Official. You can find me on Facebook there. I also have a book out on Amazon called Disarm Your Limits. And
Nice.
there's a free documentary on Amazon Prime called Right Footed, and you can watch that as well.
Okay, fantastic. Great. And then just so that everybody's clear, because there's video, but there's also the audio, just so that they're clear, how do you spell Jessica?
Jessica, the most popular way of spelling it. So Jessica Cox, Cox, jessicacox.com.
Perfect. All right. I just want to make sure. Awesome. That is so cool. All right. So tell me, so what do you have big goals for 2021? I know everybody's doing, last year was the year of the pivot, and then this year is the year of the rebound, I guess. And so we're all like, we're all trying, to make sure that we continue to make impact and we help our people and we definitely grow ourselves. Do you have big plans I know we're already into April, right? No, we're in May. Oh my gosh. Yes, we're already in
Yeah.
May. So
Uh-huh.
do you have big plans for the rest of the year?
Oh, for the rest of the year, I'm going to continue to help people bounce back to that, back to that way we were. Everything is going to be a little different moving forward, and I think all of us are going, where we've adapted, and so now it's really to get back out there and get stronger and help each other out. So I'm going to continue to be a part of that effort to get people motivated and inspired and back out there in the world, and bring all this positive energy about, despite all the negativity that's happened in the past.
No, that's awesome, because we definitely need more positivity for sure. For sure. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Wow. Thank you for sharing your story. I mean, it's such an incredible story. And, definitely know that lots of folks in the tribe are going to check you out, either at jessicacox.com or, through JCMS official, and make sure that they keep in contact with you and see how you're doing and perhaps hire you. That'd be great, right?
That'd be wonderful. Yeah.
Of
Thanks.
course, of course, of course. So we are at that point in the show where we do our fill in the blanks. Are you ready, Jessica?
Yes.
All right. Yay. All right. So the first one is, if I am fearless, I will.
Be confident in myself despite the threat of rejection.
Nice. Nice. The next one is, to me, fearless freedom means.
Having the confidence to be, the courageous and free person that I am.
Love it. Love it. And then last but not least, my battle cry is.
Ooh, that one. Oh, I have to think about that one. Wow. It's like, walk with purpose and, shine a light in the world, something along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. 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 Thank you so much for fitting us into your busy schedule. I know you have a lot going on, so we definitely appreciate you taking time out to share with us, to share your story with us, to inspire us. And, you are welcome to come back and chat with us at any time.
Okay. Thank you. Take care and good luck, Dr. G. Take care. Okay.
All right. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Again, I'm Dr. G. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified of when the next episode is going to be. And also, I'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.